Well, it looks like we have another contender for Oscar glory. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Movie Emporium's Netflix original movie review of Rustin, the newest film from director George C. Wolfe. So Rustin, of course, is the story of Bayard Rustin, who, of course, is played by Domingo Coleman in this movie. Bayard Rustin, of course, was the architect and influential in the kind of African-American community and the rights of the civil rights movement. Is basically an individual who became very influential, was very good friends with Martin Luther King. Once again, was instrumental in the architect of the March in Washington that happened. About 250,000 people showed up. Of course, a famous speech from Martin Luther King, and became an individual that not only helped in the civil rights movement, but also helped in the gay rights movement because he was a gay individual. And so it's basically a biography, or, you know, one of those films where it basically shows how he kind of became who he was. And even though this film kind of takes place over a year or so, or a couple years, we are kind of already introduced and kind of see who he is as a human being, which was a very flamboyant but very kind of important figure in the history of course, African American society and stuff like that. So that's what this story is. And so, like a lot of what Netflix has done this year, they've been pushing a lot of Oscar contenders in the festival film market and the space that is going to be the Oscar contenders for 2024. This was a film I think that premiered at Telluride, if I remember right. Of course, garnered a lot of praise for Coleman Domingo's performance of Bayard Rustin, and was a movie that I heard was actually pretty crowd pleasing. So that's something that's right up my valley, you know, right up my boat. I enjoy films that deal with like hard subject matter, whether it be like the civil rights movement, the African American society back in the day in the 60s, or women's rights, or anything of that nature. I really enjoy. I try to really enjoy because it's really important, and these stories are really important to tell because they are, you know, showing how the world was shaped, but also how we can do better and so on and so forth. So going into this movie, knowing what I know about it, I actually haven't seen the trailer, but knowing what I know, of course, with Bayard Rustin and stuff like that, I was hoping it was going to be good. And so for my honest review of this movie, it's very much a crowd-pleasing biography of a movie. It's a movie with a lot of heart, a lot of great direction. This is from the director of Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, and it really shows that George C. Wolfe is a fantastic director. He knows how to shoot, you know, interesting kind of thought-provoking dramas. It's very much, like I said, a crowd pleaser. So there's a lot of, you know, it feels very natural, but also feels like something that's very digestible, but also deals with some interesting messages and so on and so forth. So it's a movie that just, it works on its levels that it works on and does a really nice job with it. But it's also helped that Coleman Domingo is so good in the movie and so powerful in the movie of the performance of Rustin that it actually elevates the movie to being something of kind of maybe a tepid biography in a lot of respects, because there's a lot of biographies, a lot of, you know, movies based on, you know, like real life individuals that could be really kind of stale, and this movie actually goes for it. It does a really nice job. You know, I like the cast is pretty well rounded out in this, with people like Gus Harper and CCH Pounder and Jeffrey Wright and Alan Amin, who plays Martin Luther King. It's a cast that really kind of goes for it, and it shows that this guy Rustin was very controversial in his beliefs and what he did, but he was very, you know, inspirational for a lot of people. So you see a lot of African Americans, of course, but you also see a lot of Caucasian white people in this movie because of the nature of what was going on in the 60s and so on and so forth. So it does a pretty nice job. I think if there's one person in this movie that I think it kind of is out of place, it's unfortunately Chris Rock, who's playing the head of the NAACP in this movie. I think his name is Rex. I think he tries to be interesting, but it comes off like such a bad person that it plays almost like a stereotype. It almost becomes a little goofy, a little over the top, and I never really got on board on Chris Rock as an individual in this movie. And it's not saying he does a terrible job, because he does it. I think there could have been more for Chris Rock. I just don't think it was potent and as powerful as it could be. That's just my honest opinion. But other than that, you know, out of that like negativity, it's really a movie that just, it moves. It's only an hour and 45, hour and 46 minutes. And it doesn't go past what it's trying to say, but it also does it with, you know, reverence. It really does a nice job with showing us this individual who's not only inspirational to a lot of people, but it dealt on the kind of the unfortunate nature of having people kind of go up against him, because not only is he African American, but he's a gay African American, and he's dealing with the fact that he is dating a white individual, and he has an affair with another individual. And he's a guy that, you know, was very flamboyant and people knew he was gay, but they also respected him because he knew how to, he was one of those that was very charismatic and garnered a lot of like political intrigue and stuff like that. So you see a lot of that. I do wish they pushed it a little farther with like how difficult it truly was, because even though it was very difficult, and there is stuff in here that shows it's very difficult, whether it be the police force in Washington DC, or you see like the real life footage of like people, the African American community getting hosed down by the white police officers in the South. I do think that it does move pretty easily for something that was very difficult to put together. And I do kind of wish that there was more oomph, more punch to it. But it's just my personal opinion. Like I said, some people might come out of this movie going, that was perfect, that was fine. I just wish there was like a little more oomph, because these movies need to be seen, they need to be told. I just wish they would get a little more grit and a little more potency to what they're trying to say. So, I mean, it's not, in the end, it's not saying it was a bad movie at all, because it really wasn't. I just, when I see movies like that, I kind of wish they had a little more punch to it. But, you know, like I said, it's still an entertaining movie. It has some great performances, including Colman Domingo, who will get an Oscar nomination. And overall, I really enjoyed this movie. I really did. I think it works. I think it has it's hard on its sleeve, and it does a really nice job. Very beautiful to look at, great music, and so on and so forth, and great writing. And yeah, definitely recommend it. So definitely check it out. So with that said, that'll be my take on Rustin, the new Netflix original movie. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Comments below. Let me know what you think of this movie if you see it. Are you looking forward to Rustin? All that good stuff. Otherwise, if you like what you see on this channel, awesome. Hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. As always, thank you for watching. Peace out.